Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is MaREC Madness Week 2. And we have two really great matchups tonight. We're really excited for it. Rob, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Looking
Yeah,
forward to these matchups.
yeah, me too.
We got a couple of crushers going after it.
Yeah, these should be really fun to watch. I'm interested to see both of them, see how they kind of match up. Where are you calling in from again, Rob?
I'm currently in Laughlin, Nevada.
Laughlin, Nevada. Well,
So,
you're living the dream, man. Just kind of bouncing
well,
around. I
we had a little rain today, so it wasn't
Yeah.
all. It's not all roses and sunshine.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, as a reminder, everyone, this is MaREC Madness. These are heads-up matchups. We have two matchups today. This will complete the quarterfinals once we get through this, and next week will be the semifinals. At the matchups run similar to our home games in terms of the blind structure, except all the players are starting with 5,000 chips rather than 3,000. We wanted to give a little bit more play in terms of the heads up play. And I think that's a bit almost all the primary. It's win or go home. There's no best of series. It's kind of like college basketball, so you can have some wild upsets kind of happening each week. Um, yeah. Anything else, Rob? That am I forgetting about these?
Well, it was we set it up so that that we only had 8 players playing in this. We originally wanted to have like 16 players, but we ended up with 8 players, and it was basically the core group. We
Yep.
decided to get this, and this is kind of just trying it out, making sure
Yeah.
that we can get the technology to work, and we can go forward and potentially have something bigger and better the next
Yeah,
time
I
we do
think our
this.
our dream was to sort of have this be a big thing, but we realized there's some we had to figure out some of the technical glitches. So this has been fun to pilot too, but I think I had my matchup was a blast. It was fun to watch too. I watched some of the recording of it. So I hope we can expand this to a wider pool as this kind of grows. It's a really fun format. And as a reminder, if you missed last week, um, Rob, our own co-host Rob, defeated the nicest guy in poker, John Somsky, our own poker geek MN, in a pretty great matchup. It was really back and forth, fun to watch. So congrats to you, Rob.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you, and you took care of Chad McVean,
yeah,
Veener 85. I mean, Veener is probably one of the most popular people
yeah.
that we have on our on
I,
our website because of all of the things that he's done in Twitter over the years and all the different podcasts. I mean, he's known just about everywhere.
Yeah, I knew
So
I knew when the poll came out on Twitter who's going to win that matchup, Chris or Chad. I was going to get crushed on that, but that just put a little chip on my shoulder. So uh, had to come out and win that one for sure. And then so tonight we're going to start off with our matchup is going to be Andrew versus Steve. Andrew Feist versus Steve Fredland. I think this is a really great matchup. We'll kind of get into our own commentator guesses a little bit first, but to start us off, we had our Twitter poll going out, and looks like the Twitter sphere thinks that our own Steve Fredland is going to take this down. It's predicting he'll beat Andrew. How do you feel about that, Rob? Do you think that seems like, is that kind of where you're thinking?
well, how do you go against our founding father? Steve Fredlin. Now, this matchup is kind of cool because Andrew and Steve are both regulars in Running Aces. Back
Mhm.
when Running Aces was up and running, those two were playing regularly there in the daily tournament. So they both have experience, and I'm sure they have experience against each other. And but lately, Steve's been running pretty good on those home games. He's been
He
running pretty
has, he
deep in a lot of
has,
those home games.
yeah, and
So
he won the monthly one, which is a big one. I mean, that's usually the
yeah,
biggest fields. So yeah, he's been pretty hot lately.
so I'm gonna have to go with Steve on this one. I think he's gonna be able to prevail against the young pup.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna take the contrary opinion here. I think Andrew's been really working on his game. He is our learning partners person, which means he has access to like all the great quality training sites out there, or not all of them, but all the ones that we partner with. He has access to all their learning materials. He has to look them over. He is learning to bring some of that valuable information to Rec Poker Nation, and I think he's gonna pull the upset here. I think he's gonna take Steve down. But we'll see. That's kind of the magic of this. Is I think we've got a really great matchup. I think um, I think they both play somewhat. They're kind of they play somewhat similar styles, but I would say that Andrew's probably a little more aggressive. I don't know. They're both they're I think this is gonna be a really interesting matchup. And I think they're both very capable heads up too. So I think this should be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a good times.
Okay. Well, yeah, anything else before I think we're about to start the matchup? Anything else before we jump in?
I think just may the better man win.
All right.
Right?
All right. Here we go. All right. So we've got Steve at the bottom here, and Andrew is dealer 412. Um, they're both again with 5,000 chips, and we're kicking right off at the 1530 blind level. So Steve gets a nice hand to open with a suited wheel ace here, and opens to 75, and we get a nice I think this is a fine hand to defend with, and when we hit that deuce, we feel pretty good, especially because the queen pairs. Um, oh,
Oh
it's nice
boy.
when it's nice when that happens.
Yes. Steve's feeling pretty good about this
Yeah,
right now.
I think so. It's hard to believe your opponent has a queen when you see a flop like this. So,
Right.
and Steve goes with a pretty small sizing here. Now it's very hard to believe anyone has a queen.
Right. This is gonna be hard for either one of them to get away from
Yeah,
here.
it is going to be very hard to get away from this. So Andrew bets 250 into this pot. I like this raise from Steve. I was just going to say I'd like to see a raise here from Steve. Um, you have to believe you have the best hand at this point. And you, I mean, obviously you can be up against the queen, but it just feels very rare that that's actually happening.
Yeah, I don't think the betting was in line with somebody that
But
had a
as
queen.
Andrew, oh, I like that fold too. Like that's a tough fold. That's a very tough fold to make right there. Because I mean, you've got to put Steve on either a queen or a four when he does that. But
Or another pocket pair.
oh yeah, and maybe another pocket pair that beats you.
Well, any pocket pair is going to beat the
Yeah,
deuces.
right.
So
True.
that's yeah.
True.
So I think he probably put him on a pocket pair there.
Yeah.
He probably didn't put him on a four.
Here's another one. Steve he gets the pocket nines here. When we've got queen 10 on this board, Steve bets out pretty small, about a quarter pot. It's one we can continue with, I think, pretty comfortably. We've got an over to the board. We've got some straight possibilities. And then when we hit our queen,
We get paid.
yeah, we should probably get paid here, which we do. Now, Steve should probably check here, I would imagine. Yep. And I think Andrew should go for some value here.
What are you targeting, a jack maybe or a seven?
Yeah, I think I would be targeting even a seven, jacks
Yeah.
and sevens here.
And Steve can't get away
And
with it.
yeah,
Can't
yeah,
break from it.
it's tough to fold that.
Oh, big hands here.
Yeah, they've been opening here with some decent hands here. I wouldn't mind to see a 3-bet here from Andrew with this strong of a hand.
It's going to be interesting to see if they do that 3-betting or do more of a trapping type of strategy.
It's a nice sizing too here. No, and Steve's gonna come along. Oh. That's a nice flop for Jack 8 diamonds.
No
When we
doubt,
get 2 diamonds.
no doubt. Top pair with a flush draw.
We might see
And
a raise here.
Andrew can't get away from this either. It's just,
Yeah, I mean, this is a
he's got
3-bet
2
pot, so
overcards.
this is
Yep.
kind of, I mean, he can have overpairs here, but I think we still probably need to raise this Steve here. He gets the call.
King could be troublesome for him
Yeah,
because Andrew did 3-bet.
yep, he did 3-bet. I don't think we can get away from this, though. This is gonna be interesting if Andrew puts, oh, okay. It just went check there.
Big hands. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that's so interesting about heads up is that you know, we have to play hands that we don't normally play.
Yeah.
We have to play hands that aren't typically in our ranges. And whew, boy. But these two have just been playing hands that you normally get into like a 9-ring table here.
Exactly. I know I played a lot of garbage in my first match against John.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you're having to play like Jack 3, kind of
Yep.
defend with Jack 3 or those kinds of hands. But we're seeing some pretty power packed hands here. Now, this is going to be tough to get much value from there, but there's nothing much he can do. He bet really small, and you got to keep going with that set there. And the board's getting a little bit scary in terms of straights and flushes. So. All right.
Both of these hands are playable.
Yep. I think we should probably see an open and a call here, probably.
Yep. Looks like he just limped, didn't he?
Oh, nice. Oh, interesting 3-bet. This is I don't mind this 3-bet. It's an interesting choice here. Oh, and he defends it.
And again, somebody hit the flop really hard.
Yep. He's got the top pair plus the gut shot.
Yep. Okay, now we're getting the kind of hands that we would normally see over and over again.
Yeah, those are more typical heads up kind of hands that we see. This should probably both be playable hands as well, for sure. Boy. This is you know, I think, oh, it's interesting. This should be one where I think with your gut shot and your ace, I think you're probably continuing here. I like this sizing.
It's about a third.
We're gonna get a decent size because of the spades. I think we're gonna get a decent bet here from Steve, a raise. And we get a call, which I think is fair with your ace and your gut shot. When the 7 pairs, yeah, I think it's getting scary for our ace 4.
It's a good card for Steve.
Yeah, it definitely is. So Steve here defends.
Suited queen.
Suited queen, it's fine, but yeah, I like the fold here. I think this is one that once we can't really like what's happening there.
Steve seems to get a lot of suited hands, it looks like.
Yeah, he's a specialist.
Yes, he specializes in that suitedness. I think Jack 7 I could defend there.
Yep. I mean, that is kind of what we're talking about too, is it's really heads up really demands us, you know, defending, you know, I think you've got to open, somewhere between 75 to 85% of your
Right,
range, and you've got
right.
to defend, a pretty big portion as well. So you're going to be dipping your toes into hands you're not really used to playing that often.
I like this raise by Steve with
Yep.
6-9 offsuit.
Yep.
I tend to open the button most of the time.
Hmm.
Oh, this could be trouble here.
Yep. It could be.
Because if I caught the 9 there, I'd feel pretty good.
Yep. Certainly for, a few streets here.
Right.
And I think we're calling this. And we're praying we don't hit oh, nice. Nice, Steve. Nice fold. I would have been taken to Value Town there.
Now let's see if Andrew can open like Steve did. Here
Yep.
we go. Yep.
And I think Steve, this is a hand you can fold. Yep. That's, we have to defend a lot, but when we've got total garbage, I think we can let it
Right.
go.
Okay, should see some action here.
Yep.
Wow, 3-bet.
Yeah. It's interesting that this ace is really going to favor Andrew.
Right.
And oh.
Well, it looks like right now it'd be very close to a chop.
Yeah.
One more card.
He needs a card above a above a
Above a
7. Okay.
There it is. So yeah, the chopper here.
Should be. Yep. Everyone loves one of these.
No one's getting away from it.
I'm seeing this note in the chat from Ben too. Like there have been, I think, some interesting spots where people have taken some 3-bets here, which is another thing you have to do. Heads up, you have to get into that uncomfortable, because not only do we have to increase our opening range, but because of that, we have to open up our 3-betting range as well. So we have to get ourselves into spots that don't feel that all that comfortable if we're used to playing at 6-handed or 9-handed tables.
Right. I don't think I do that enough when I play heads up. I play a lot more of a trappy type of game,
Mm-hmm.
and then hope to hit something up that somebody doesn't expect. So.
And we're going to see some more of it here.
Oh my.
Not a bad flop for wow.
Either player, yeah.
Wow.
We got the flush draw. We got the straight already.
We could see it all go in here. I mean, Steve's not going to want to let this hang around here, I don't think. I think he'll probably be raising with his straight. And I don't know how Andrew can get away from this either. Boy, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep. So it's all a race here. Wow. That is
bigger straight.
Yeah, bigger straight. That's pretty crushing. I don't see any way of getting away from that. That's just one of those hands that plays themselves. And now Steve's in a lot of trouble. And now is the point in this where we really have to slow down. We've got to really pick our spots. We're now in that sort of that small stack kind of play where we maybe can't see as much of as many flops. We've got to pick spots to just shove and go with hands, because we've got to get a double up, and we can't really be bleeding off chips here.
I think there's more of a limping strategy.
Yeah. Yep.
When you're this
once we get down, we can definitely be limping sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, I tend to raise almost every time from the button if I'm going to play, regardless of the hand. But then when you get down to this level, it's you look for some of those hands where you could hopefully limp into the pot.
Yep. This should Probably, oh, he's gonna open, so well, I think this should be a shove. And I
Yep.
don't know, yeah, I don't think he
Not a
can
fold.
call. And probably we just need to fold that. Yep.
Yeah, I would too.
He's gonna need to find a spot to double. He might make his stand here. I don't think Andrew will be folding his ace-6 suited either. But this might be one we need to take his, oh, he's just gonna call here. Interesting.
He's got the flush draw now.
Yep,
Andrew's got the 6.
he's got the 6. The problem with the, it's interesting to call there, but I think it's one of these spots where we're, the more we kind of give away these chips are just so valuable for us right now, that it may be time to really, that this is really either limp or shove kind of
Yep.
point.
Oh, he raised with the a7, and I don't think Andrew's not going to get away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one big cooler spot there.
Yeah, and it's so hard. You're gonna have to find yourself, and you just keep. This is so frustrating once you have those cooler spots, and then you get the 9-3 and the 6-4 and all that kind of stuff. And Queen Deuce seems like the best hand you've seen in ages, and it's just very frustrating. But now this is also a spot I think also we probably can't call. Yeah, we've either got to shove or
fold. Yep.
Or fold.
I agree.
This is probably one I'm going with if I'm Steve. I've got to find a spot to double up here. And Andrew's got an interesting choice here with Jack-5 suited. It's ugly, but again, we're heads up and he's doing this pretty light. We might find a call there, but he makes a disciplined fold there. This should probably also be a shove from Steve.
Yep, there it is. All right.
And we get the call. That's a nice flop.
Yep.
All right. Well, Steve's going to get a few
up.
of those chips back. He's going to need about 6 more of those.
A couple more anyway.
Yeah, a couple more.
Just to get back in it. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Another cooler spot.
Oh no, man. You got to be terrified of this little raise here with Steve Stack. Oh, but he jumps on it anyway.
Yep.
And that'll do it. Andrew will win it with the 10s over the deuces. Good game to both Andrew and Steve. Ultimately that really just came down to one monster cooler. And I mean, what can you do? You flop a straight and your opponent flops the world as well and then draws out to a better straight. Yeah, those hands play themselves. That's not,
it wasn't much Steve could do there. I mean, I didn't see any bad play. I mean, I didn't see any spots where they shouldn't have done what they did. They seemed to play pretty solid all the way through.
I totally agree. I think the only thing I would say is I think that possibly when Steve got short, he probably should have been shoving more rather than calling a little. I think once we get that short, we've got to really protect our stacks. But ultimately, he played great, and I don't think there's any way he could have that result was just going to always happen. You get a hand like that, and it's 90% of your stack going the other way. So,
yep, that's a fact.
Yep.
Well, the kid beat the founding father.
He did. So we'll see. Maybe that'll end his time at Rec Poker. It's Steve's gonna kick him out now. But okay, and now
I doubt if that'll happen.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna look at the updated standings now, I think. So looks like we've got 3 people who still have perfect brackets. Danny Schneids, Binkley, and Pet Vet have the only three of the perfect brackets remaining. So we had 20 entries to begin. We've got three perfect brackets. Uh, oh, this is just top 20. Sorry. So we had more than that. But that of the top 20, we have three who are still perfect. So congrats to them. Hopefully they can keep it running into the next matchup. So any other thoughts about that matchup before we kind of shift gears into the next one? No.
No, I don't have any thoughts on that. I
Okay.
think it played out pretty standard, I guess you could say, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is also one of those things with heads up, and similar to all these kind of bracket style tournaments, even in basketball, the one and done is it's pretty unforgiving. You run into one cooler and you could be the best player in the world, and GG.
Yeah, you
So
get it in with aces over kings, and this guy spikes a king. What are you gonna do?
right,
It's
exactly.
the same thing.
Yep. So, but good game to both those players, and we're looking forward to the next matchup. So our next matchup is an interesting one. We've got Taylor Moss, our own Taylor Moss, up against the hero of rec poker website Mark, who has built all of our intricate website development for the entire rec poker world. It's a beautiful site. It's awesome. He's also a poker fan. He came up pre-pandemic, before the when we had the rec poker day at Running Aces. He came the greatest distance from Texas, came up for Rec Poker Day at Running Aces. So he's been not only like a great supporter of Rec Poker, but a big fan, and he's also a pretty accomplished player. So
Yeah,
I
great
think
kid,
yeah
great kid.
it
I
was
met
really
him
fun to
there
meet
at
him.
Yep, met him at Rec Poker Day, and he just a lot of energy. Had a big smile most of the time that I saw him. He's
Yeah,
a great kid and a hard worker. I mean,
yeah,
what he's done with that website is
yeah.
amazing.
I mean, he's like kind of like a web. I mean, like a savant, right? Like it's kind of amazing.
Yeah,
Like we're just
yeah.
kind of like, could you do this and could you do that, and it just suddenly appears on the site. So it's pretty amazing. So, uh, but yeah, so I don't think he's as well known to the rec poker community. So it's not a big surprise to me that Taylor did win the Twitter poll. Taylor was picked as the prediction amongst our community to take this down. But what do you think? Do you think do you think people are right? Do you think Taylor's going to win this one?
I
Uh,
I think personally I'm gonna have to go with Taylor because
yeah,
we get together with Taylor on a weekly, almost on a weekly basis through the seminars and through all the stuff that we do. And some of the insights that Taylor brings to the table are, to me, are just really, really well thought out. So I think he does a lot of off off the felt work. And I don't know that website Mark has enough time to do that because he seems to be spending all his time doing website work.
yeah, that may
So
be true. And I agree. Taylor is a pretty phenomenal player. He puts in a lot of work. I'm always impressed talking to him about poker. However, I will say there was this light bulb moment today that changed my mind about where I think this matchup is headed. And it was this tweet today
oh
where he came
my.
out and he said, "I will be open folding 5-5 tonight."
Oh
And
my.
I think that is, I mean, you, yeah, how can you expect, as we saw last week in my matchup, how can you expect to win this kind of tournament if you won't play 5-5? So I am going to jump on to the upset bandwagon, and I am picking website Mark to win this one.
He threw the gauntlet down, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, indeed,
That's
indeed.
great.
Yeah. Because need I remind, if you missed last week's uh, episodes, uh, yours truly did win his heads-up matchup with pocket fives.
I
Let it
was
not ever be forgotten.
I was totally amazed when I saw that last hand. It was like, you've got to be kidding. It's 5-5. I mean, everybody in the podcast group gives you a hard time for having a favorite hand. And what do? You take it down with that specific hand. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I've won tournaments like we're not. This is for play. It's for pride. I've won tournaments where I've earned a decent amount of money. I don't know if I've ever been that happy when I won a hand. Like won a tournament basically when I was like, oh yeah, this is being recorded. Taylor's gonna have to talk about it, and it's with 5-5. It was great. It was awesome.
I was totally flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. I was laughing to myself while I was watching it. I just couldn't believe it. Great.
All right. So to return our attention back to to the matchup at hand, we've got Mark and Taylor coming up. What do you expect to see? What kind of style of play do you expect to see? How do you see this kind of playing out?
I'm not as familiar with Mark's play, so I'm going to assume that he's not going to be as aggressive as Taylor. I think Taylor's going to come out and be pretty aggressive with open raising and the three betting. To try to put a lot of pressure on Mark to find out where he's at, how he handles it.
Yeah, and I think it'll be very interesting to see how I think Taylor will have more probably. I actually don't know what Mark's knowledge or experience is in heads up play, but I think Taylor will probably have. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that, because I think that's exactly right. Like we talked about in the previous matchup, you have to really get outside of some comfort zones. If you're used to playing in full ring tables, it's a very different game to play heads up. So when you're put to some of those tests and put in some of those situations, you have to find yourself in spots where you're like calling down with third pair, or or you're even raising, you're like putting yourself in spots that you wouldn't normally put yourself in. So it'll be interesting to see how Mark reacts to that. And I think that'll be sort of, if he's going to pull off an upset, I think that's really what he's going to have to be able to do. He's going to have to pick those spots where he does react and and make some hands, and once you get momentum in a heads up matchup, it can really start to snowball. So we'll kind of see how this goes, but
Yep.
I'm still hoping for good things for Mark here.
It's always fun to watch, see how these guys do.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we're about to start it. Here we go. So we've got Taylor is Gopher Boy TJM, and Mark is Website Mark. It looks like we're about to get started, and Mark's holding pocket threes and Taylor with the 5-6 offsuit. I'm being told to make fun of the screen if we want to, because it's going to be fixed in a few minutes. But I think it looks good. I think we're all feeling good about it here. But so you'll notice Mark's got his he's come out with a small bet with the pocket threes, and Taylor defends and hits his 6, which is a pretty nice event when we're holding 5-6.
Yeah, and I think you with connectors like that, 5-6, even though they're that small, you're going to be defending quite a bit.
Yep. And I think we're feeling pretty good. Even when Mark bets into us here, yes, we can have some hands that beat us, but when we're got second pair after we defend with 5-6, I think this is a decent spot for us to be in, especially with the gut shot. And I think, we're as Taylor, we're probably always checking in this spot. Oh, but he leads out. Interesting play there. What do you think? That's an interesting play.
Did he lead out, or was it just check and the chips went to him?
Oh, the chips went to him. Sorry, maybe I missed how that. I thought maybe the screen confused me.
Yeah, I think it went check.
Okay, it went check. Okay.
I missed the action in the beginning, but I would imagine that would be a raise from
Yeah, I think there was an
Taylor.
open and defend.
There's a defend with 10-5,
Yep.
5-10. My mother-in-law, her favorite hand.
Is 5-10?
5-10, yeah.
Interesting.
Woolworth, 5 and dime.
And I like this fold with 3-7. We do have to have some hands that we fold.
Yeah, 3-7
even.
is there.
These two are getting more of the kinds of hands you expect to see in heads up play here.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
And I think when we have these connectors, these are also the kinds of hands we have to open. So I like this open from Mark. And it's a definite defend from Taylor's point of view too. And we go check, check to a turn. And once I see this check through and I have second pair, I feel
think,
my
yeah.
7 is in very good shape. So I like this bet from Taylor.
Yeah, and Mark had to fold that. I mean, everything was above his hand.
Yep.
So. It should be an open from and a defend, I would think.
Yep. Oof. This one could get a little pricey for Mark, I think.
Get a little ugly.
Yep.
Hopefully, maybe the diamonds will slow him down a little bit.
Diamonds could slow him down a bit. Taylor, I like the sizing here. Taylor goes about 2/3 pot here on this turn. He doesn't actually, well, he probably does it because he doesn't want to see a 4th diamond and he gets a 4th diamond. So I'll be curious what he does with it. Okay, I think
it
goes check, and he just wins it. Yeah, I think you have to check back once you see that 4th diamond.
Yep.
All right. And our screen has repaired itself.
It's a lot better. It's easier to follow the action now.
I kept feeling like people were betting and they were just getting chips shoved to them. So.
Now, if I opened this hand, I would do a C bet here on a paired board like
paired
this.
Board. Yeah, this is going to be one that's hard for Taylor to, when people see a paired board like that, when we've opened, we can have a lot of queens in our range. The defender probably has fewer. Yes, they are probably more likely to have the pair of 7s, but if they don't have it, they can't really defend. So I really like a C bet there.
Yep. Okay, check into the razor. Check back by Taylor.
And this is one of those hands that's really difficult to play when we're sitting there with ace deuce. We've got a deuce. We're hoping to kind of get the showdown, but he actually does bet into it. So it's an interesting choice there. I think that's probably what you can do there is like bet small. And if you get further action, you may have to eject, but you could be called, potentially be called by worse.
That was either a very thin value bet or a turning it into a bluff.
Yeah.
When you see that second 7, you can represent that. It's be hard because Taylor does have an overcard.
That's a really interesting check raise there. So he had king 10 on that board. I like it though.
That's not a semi bluff. There wasn't anything that could help him other than a
No,
king.
no, but it's a board that I think is difficult for your opponent to to make a really strong hand. So it's an interesting board to take that line with.
Ooh,
This could be a little problem for website Mark. We'll see.
oh yeah.
Should probably see a raise here.
Yep, there it is. You defend with the ace.
And if I'm website Mark, I'm gonna have a tough time not seeing a flop here. Oh, but he folds. That's good.
Oh,
You know, heads up. So that ace three suited. I mean, in a normal ring game, I'm dropping that, no question. But I would have a tough time not seeing a flop there. But
yeah.
he definitely, in that instance, made the right fold.
He's getting a lot of ace deuces, isn't he?
Yeah, this is one of the ugliest hands that you can have.
I know it. I hate it.
I hate it. It's almost an auto fold for me. So Taylor opens, we get a defend, misses both of them pretty much. Taylor does have the backdoor clubs and straight. And he takes it down.
Haven't seen any real big hands yet. It's all
Nope,
been just a little
no.
bit
I mean,
here, a
Taylor
little
had
bit there.
the ace king there.
Yep.
But yeah, there has not been, unlike the Andrew Steve matchup, this has been a little bit of kind of they have not had very many hands to play with, and they've also have not been connecting with flops very much
Right,
at all.
right. So it's just a jab here, a jab there, and they're kind of going back and forth. Taylor has been a little more aggressive than website Mark, and I think that's why he's a little bit of chip lead right now. He's taken some spots where website Mark could have potentially taken advantage of it.
Mhm. This is this is one of those boards where, especially heads up, it feels like you almost can discount your opponent having either of these hands, and your jack might just be good, but how can you?
But
Yeah,
how can you call a bet?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the aggression we were talking about that
Yep.
Taylor was going to bring to bear. He's going to
Yep.
look at it and say, if he doesn't have an ace or a king, he can't call.
Yep. Yep. I would very seriously consider calling with a queen there, but a jack is so hard because
Right.
Taylor can do that with a queen. Well, this is a nice hand for Mark. I don't think he's going to get too much value out of it, but we'll see. He does get the call.
Okay, Taylor's got a gutter now with a 7.
Yep. If I was website Mark, I'd like to see another small bet here.
Yeah,
I would
something
not.
in the
I would not
150
want
range.
to. Yeah, I would not want to go too big. I want to get, 6s and 4s to call me here.
Not a lot of 6s left.
No. Well,
Ooh.
now we're talking.
So does he play it slow or does he 3-bet him here?
I think we'll see a 3-bet.
There it is. Yep. Suited king, you might want to see the flop.
Might. I think we'll see Taylor fold this though. That's my prediction. Yeah.
Yep.
This could be another one of those spots that's gonna be troublesome. Well, but flips the tables.
They both slowed down. They didn't bet
Yep.
the flop at all. Trying to get the showdown with some
And Taylor's gonna
overcards.
bet now. I would love to see Mark call this. Nice.
Yeah, and if his hand was good before, it's still good.
Yep. Yep.
So we
This
should
is
call
the
another bet.
kind of spot where you find yourself in these heads up matchups where I think you got to find a call on this river.
Yep,
And he does. Well done, Mark. Yeah, I mean, because that,
way
yeah,
to
you
go,
just,
yeah.
you've got to find those spots and got to find calls just in those kind of spots. Well. Hello. We were just complaining about no big hands, and then there's been a string of them here.
Yes. First he had the set, now he's got the flush.
Yeah. Now this is one where I think we need to raise because, and this is the exact spot that we need to do it in because we need to chase off these bigger spades. We need to get the value in. We've got this baby flush, but it's quite vulnerable.
Yep.
So I'd really like to see a raise here. Well, but we're
Just
taking
call.
a call line.
We're using Taylor's aggression against him.
Yep.
But to your point, if another club or another spade hits the board, it's could be trouble.
Yep.
Does he raise here? No, he just called.
Just called. That's enough. I think I don't know that we're going to get much value out of Taylor, but I think that's a spot where I think I would have liked to have seen a river raise there. It's very hard for our opponent to have a better flush in that spot based on how the betting went. But it's possible.
Okay, neither of them have anything here.
Yeah. And I think we're just gonna, that's one of those maddening bets. Wow,
Oh, and he
nice
called
call.
it with the
Called
king
with
high.
king high.
Wow.
Wow, nicely done.
Nice call,
Yeah,
Mark.
very nice call. I was predicting, it was one of those maddeningly small bets that you're like, I should call this with king high, but I'm not gonna. But he did it. He did it. So kudos to Mark. So, and this is, once we start to see the chips kind of divide, you notice they both start with 5,000. I think of these sort of, there's turning points. It's when one opponent has 6,000, when one opponent has 7,500, and then kind of when they get into that 8 to 8,500 range. Each of those is like a point in the match where it's really starting to turn even more. But we should turn back to this because
We should see some action here.
the disparity of chips may flow in the other direction here. And again, if we're gonna call king high, we're probably gonna call middle pair.
On a board like this,
On
yeah.
a board like this. So this is gonna be a tough one. Now Taylor doesn't like to see that paired 3, but you still can't be too scared about it when we flop the straight.
Right, because website Mark did not come back with a raise.
Yep.
A check raise on the flop, so.
Good fold.
Good fold.
Good fold. Really good fold. Really good fold.
He's
Boy,
preserving his chips.
I am probably calling there. I will just tell you straight up.
Yes. And if you watched my match last week, you know I would have called there also. Anytime I connect with any part of the board, I don't believe anybody has anything.
Yeah. Well, good to know. Good to know for our matchup next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, so now we've hit second pair. But we see that 10. So this is also, boy, Mark is definitely being put into some tough, these are the kinds of spots heads up that are just so hard to play. Um,
I think
but
with the chip lead, I think Taylor has to be a little more careful than he
yep,
was
yep, for
when they
sure.
were more even.
Yeah, and that fold with the ace four helps him keep that advantage, which like I was saying, I don't have that advantage anymore because I'm not believing Taylor in that spot.
Right.
So kudos to Mark for that. This should be one that Taylor feels really good about after the checks come through after the ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Website mark will fold.
Yep.
So is he going to call with any king?
Yeah.
It's like it. Yeah.
All right. Now Taylor's put in the slightly difficult spot of having the third pair on this in a heads up matchup. So, but he's going to
But
bet out.
he's got the range advantage though, right?
Yep,
Because
he
he
does.
should
So he
have
should
more
have the ace.
aces.
Yep, for sure. So I like this bet a lot, and
Yep.
it works. Be curious to see what Taylor does here. Okay, he's going to peel. And we've both got both players with gut shots. And we get the paired 8.
So is Mark going to try to take advantage of this again, where
Yep.
the board paired and he's going to represent it?
He may. He may. We're gonna get the check. He may just check back, and he does. And now this is an interesting spot. Both players have nothing. And it's really the first one who breathes at it is gonna win.
And Mark pull the trigger here. Represent the ace.
Yeah.
If I see a bet from Mark, it'd be hard for me to call it with 10 high.
Yeah, I sure would. Yep. It would have been pretty spicy if Taylor found a check raise there, but I think that would be asking a lot of ourselves.
Right. All right, very good fold from Mark.
Okay, we get an open. These are the kind of hands that you just feel like I'm supposed to defend this, right? Oh, and he gets the kind of flop you really like to see.
Oh my.
Oh,
Now that's the smallest flush he could possibly have on that board.
yep.
But website Mark has
He
second
really
pair.
does not want to see another diamond, but he's going to take it down. That's also another discipline fold. When we hit that king, that's another discipline fold there.
Okay,
And
there's
here we
that
are.
paired,
Yeah,
that paired
the
board
paired
again.
board. And it's just so hard to continue.
Oh wow.
Well, the only way to continue really is to represent yourself with a jack.
Mark. He's giving us a clinic here today,
Yeah,
isn't he?
I like it. I like the check raise there.
Yeah.
Then we may see Taylor three bet this. I'm curious if you will. Even though he's got a chip disadvantage here. Yeah, I kind of thought we might see something because this is a kind of hand that I think out of position. We can just try to take it down right now. Take advantage of the fact that our opponent's raising a lot. It's a hand that if we get called, it can flop pretty well. We're not in terrible shape against almost any hand.
Right.
So I like that as a 3-bet there.
Yeah, if you get 4-bet, you can fold it. So
Right, right. All right. So now I think we'll see. This is another one. I think we'll see Taylor defend this. And we're going to hit top pair as Mark. This should probably just go check, bet, fold.
yeah. He didn't flop enough to continue on that.
Yep.
Let's try to get real spicy.
Yep. We haven't seen people get, the only time we've really seen people get 2 out of line was Mark with that check raise on that Jack 4 board. But I liked it. I liked the play, but I think that pretty much, we haven't seen too much out of line yet.
You must have been watching our seminars when we talked about those types of boards.
Yeah.
And knowing that Taylor would be one that would try to take advantage of that type of board.
Right, right. These are the really interesting hands in No Limit when nobody has anything. Yeah. I think it's always really interesting to see.
Yeah, there's that last hand where we had the jacks. A couple of comments in the chat. How do you play jacks? Well, there's 3 ways to play it, and they're all wrong. You know that already. But Steve made a point that because their 3-betting ranges are so narrow that it's very difficult to get action when you do 3-bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't seen too many 3-bets here.
Right.
It is definitely true.
And it's been with big hands. So nobody has been 3-betting very light.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, we've seen a lot of flops going just kind of this kind of way. Now this is one with Taylor. I think we're getting lower on chips, and I think we're gonna have to try to make a stab at this when we've got the open ender, some backdoor flush possibilities.
Mm-hmm. And Mark's gonna have a hard time defending with that kind of a flop.
Yep.
Ooh, the best hand in poker. 7 deuce. The hammer.
Whoa.
Oh, my.
There we
go. Running into an ace, though.
Now we're hitting top pair, top kicker.
And a gutter.
He's got a double gutter, doesn't he now?
Yeah. Yeah, an 8 or a 4.
But unfortunately, now we have to.
I think he has to give it up.
We have to wave the white flag.
Unless he wants to raise the river as a bluff.
I think that's a board we can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting with Taylor's exact holding there. It would be very interesting if we saw a raise there, how he might react to that.
I think with the king on the end, he would have had to probably give it up.
Yeah. Wow. I'm liking this. I'm liking this opening range for Mark. This is pretty spicy.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I end up doing, which sometimes works, but sometimes costs me the tournament. So
yeah, I mean, I will say, like, you obviously you're running yourself into real trouble with low equity hands. But
Right.
heads up does require a certain level of playing, just differently than you normally do. So uh, it's interesting to see how this goes. Okay, this is
So this
one
could
where
be,
we
yep,
could be in a little bit of trouble from website Mark's perspective.
this could get a little spicy here.
I think we'll just probably see a call here from Taylor, but I could be wrong. Yep. And now we've got a gut shot with second pair as Taylor. I think we're probably still in a call if website Mark bets. I think Taylor will be calling this again. We could potentially raise this, but we're getting low on chips. Well, that's nice. It's always nice to get there, although it's not the best way to get there.
It's the bottom end of
It's
it.
the bottom end of it, which is always like the
Yeah,
dubious. It's the scary end of the
it's the
straight. For
scary
sure.
end of the straight.
I see in the chat, Chapo said he's channeling his inner Rick Solomon. He is definitely doing that here. And he's going to get paid off, and that's going to flip the sort of the who's got the most chips here, and it's going to now Taylor's now got the advantage here. So that was a big turning point, that hand there. Now website Mark's going to flop top pair here, and I like the check, but Taylor's going to check it back. Now I think we have to lead out small here, try to get some value, which he does. And I think unfortunately for him,
Taylor has to fold.
I think Taylor has to fold. This will get a little interesting, I think.
I wonder if we see a 3-bet here from Taylor.
I think we probably will. I'm predicting a 3-bet.
Yes. And then what does Mark do? Does he just call?
I think I don't know. That's interesting.
Because he's got, is that suited? That's a suited ace jack, isn't it?
No, it's ace of spades, jack of clubs.
Okay.
So he just
Okay.
flats, which I don't mind with ace jack. Ace jack is one of those hands
Right.
that I don't want to go to the mat with it quite yet. And I think that this, well, we've got backdoor spades. When we have the ace of spades, I don't mind peeling here. And when the spade comes, getting a little bit naughty. But in this case here, I think we're just going to have to shut it down if Taylor continues with double barrels.
It's hard for Taylor to double barrel after he calls.
Yep, it is.
Because he's looking at it. Okay.
And so Taylor checks to us. This is a tough spot here. I think that's a reasonable check there.
He's got to be able to find a call here if Taylor bets out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the way the action went. Taylor would have tried to get some more value with a queen if he had one.
And Taylor goes big, which I like because it makes it really hard to call with this exact kind of holding with our ace highs that have been hanging on. And yeah, he's gonna get the fold there, and that's also going to be a really big hand there. That king jack ace jack hand is one I think we'll have to look back on maybe as this match progresses. See if Mark can't come back here, because that's really shifted a lot of the chips over towards Taylor.
Yep, that gave Taylor the advantage. That was kind of the key hand. We saw the key hand in the last matchup where we had the cooler.
Yep.
Steve got coolered with that straight. This could be the hand that made the difference here and turned the tide.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the nice thing for website Mark here is he's got a lot more chips than Steve had after that moment. So he can definitely make a comeback here. He can 3-bet. He can do a lot of things that Steve was really hamstrung and couldn't
Right.
do. Once we get that low, we're in a lot of trouble. When we've got like, we're in this 6,000 to 4,000 range, we're still pretty, most of the options are on the table for us in terms of our play. And this is a
Ooh,
pretty
spicy.
decent flop for us as
Spicy.
website Mark. Well,
Oh
boy.
my,
I think we're just
my.
going to see a bunch of chips going in, flailing
Yep.
into the pot that are
Yep.
totally meaningless is basically what we're about to see.
Basically, yes. Everybody's feeling pretty good about their hand right
Yeah,
now.
let's go. I hope somebody raises me. He did raise me. I'm all in. I call. Now I mean, you know, like you can there obviously 3-6 is out there. But I don't think we can really um I don't think we can really be worried too much about it at this point.
Yeah, you have to go with this hand.
Yep.
See, because Taylor could be doing this with ace king, ace two, ace five. So that 5-3 is looking pretty good.
It's always so disappointing when like everybody's shoving and you're like,
Yeah.
I've got it, let's go, and then it's just you have it too.
How many times that happened where you have the same hand? And
Yeah,
you just
right.
go, oh, man.
Oh, come on. At least online, it just like the chips just you don't have to sit there for 10 minutes while the dealer is like counting
Yeah.
out and putting all the chips all there. All right, so Taylor gets dealt 8-6. He's going to open. I think with our ace jack here, I'd like to see a 3-bet here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we can defend some decent aces. You know, we can just flat those. But I think the ace jack offsuit is a particular one that I like a 3-bet with because it can be one that's can be in a lot of trouble sometimes if we just flat.
Yeah. And it's one that if you get 4-bet, you could actually let go.
Yep.
Whereas you don't want to get 4-bet with your ace jack suited because you really want to see a flop with it.
Yep.
Now we're getting those nothing kind of hands.
Mm-hmm. And we went check on a flop, and now we see the queen here. Again, we both have absolute nothing. Taylor is currently winning with 8 high.
Yeah, and the 8 will play.
Yep.
And website Mark
And
takes
it's
it
going to
down.
take it down.
Very well done. Now, would you 3-bet there with the king 9 suited?
I would sometimes for sure. You know, heads up, we've got to find those
Yep.
kind of like spicier hands to do it with, and I think that's a really good candidate.
And to Steve's point earlier, it would open up that 3-betting range.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do? Does he 3-bet or does he just try to?
Yeah, and this is, you know, this is one where you can do either.
Right.
you can find some flats here with aces and kings, and you know, play your hand out that way.
Yep, play
But
post flop.
yep.
Now we're getting some hands here. They're
Mhm.
gonna should see some action.
And so this should you know, it should favor Taylor. And I think boy, this is I mean, this is a tough spot here with our queen jack. But I don't mind peeling here for the small sizing.
Because 10 could definitely be in the calling range.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to fight the double barrel though. He's got a double gutter. He's got a 9 or a king.
And we called twice now. Yeah, we're in a really tough spot. That's a tough hand to play like that. Oh, Taylor is just
Wow.
getting smashed in the face here with his.
Yeah, but Mark's got nothing to defend it with.
Yeah. Now this is one again we could flat, and then we were actually, this is the exact kind of holding where we're going to get likely more chips if we flat with this.
Yep.
I'm noticing in the chat that people are saying they're taking notes on how to beat me. So we'll see. We'll see if you get all my secrets from the stream.
Well, you could watch our matches from last week and get a lot of what.
Yeah,
how we play.
That'd probably be even better to figure out how to beat me.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch that before we play our match.
No, I've deleted all those. They're gone. No more records.
No, I think they're still on the website. I think we'll go back and look at them.
They are, I think. I've just blocked your access.
Oh, there you go. All right. Mark's got a little bit of action,
Yep,
a little bit of the board here.
And Taylor's got, a little bit too.
Yeah, he's got the gutter. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Mark to do anything here.
It really is. I mean, it's almost hard to credibly represent much here, but he is attacking the right kind of holding. I will be very impressed if Taylor finds a call here.
That's a pure bluff with air.
I mean, if you're sitting there with a king here, you're really like thinking the only things that I'm beating are, like baby combos of diamonds, really, right? So,
yep.
But that's exactly what he was holding. So, when we have our worst hands in our range, sometimes we've got to find spots to bluff with those.
Okay, now Taylor's opening pretty wide there with that 9-4. It is suited, but now he can represent that ace.
I'm gonna have the tough part is when you get down into this like 3,800 range of chips. It's really hard to like make these calls. But see, I was just gonna say I kind of like taking hold of a hand like this.
It's a great play by Mark.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And that puts us right back in it. Now we're almost even in chips.
Yep. Yep. Okay, we got top pair. He's
Yeah,
got
top
flush
pair
draw.
against the flush draw. This is this could
Classic.
also get a little bit dicey for both of our opponents or both of our players here.
Pretty spicy hand.
What are you going to
there.
do here as Taylor? You like that call there?
Oh yeah, I think
yeah.
I do.
Yep. I
And now
mean,
he
I
hit
think
the,
now he's got it.
he hit the gin card.
Unfortunately for Taylor, it was like two overcards came. You know, you'd almost rather have like the 3 of clubs hit rather than the ace of clubs, in case your opponent does have that 10. But yeah, you've got to bet here for some value. I don't know.
It'd
This
be
is a
hard for me
spot.
to call.
Yeah, this is a spot where I find a fold.
Oh, he called it
Oh,
off.
but he does call.
Yep. And now he's back down into that 3,000 to 7,000 range. Ooh, big hands here.
Mark has him dominated here.
Yep.
Just shove.
This is one that Mark should not defend. Probably just throw it away. Ooh.
This is one I'm folding if I'm Mark, especially when we're getting this low.
Yep. No, he's gonna open it. And Taylor's gonna let him bluff into it with a C bet here.
Yep. Yep.
Before he gives him the bad news.
If I'm Taylor, I think we'll probably just see a flat here.
Should be, yes. And I would think Mark would shut down after the call on that kind of board.
Yeah.
It could represent the 9 now.
It's possible. Yeah.
Taylor's probably gonna. Oh, I thought Taylor might go for a little thin value there. Open a king.
If I think, I mean, he's definitely gonna check call this. I think Taylor is. So I think this is gonna be bad news for website Mark. Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a big.
Yeah.
Big
And now
blow there.
we're in that, and especially at this blind level, you know, we're 10 big blinds deep as website Mark. And Taylor's going into open shove mode. So we are going to have to pick a hand here and try to double up to, and this is a good candidate.
Be a good candidate right here. Yeah.
See, I like when we get this low heads up. I think one of the things we have to start to think about is when we're shoving. And I think we really need to shift into a limp or shove mode when we get this low. Because this is the kind of situation where we kind of min open and we get called, and now we've got a middling hand with an ace, but we can't really win it unless it just kind of goes to showdown. And it's a kind of hand I think that we can just win pre-flop. And we're in not that bad a shape when we get called by most holdings.
Well, especially, you only got one player. So how many hands could that player have?
Yep.
When you get down to, 2, 3 in a sit and go or a tournament, you can be doing some open shoving very wide and get a lot of folds.
Yep. Although you're not going to get a fold when they've got pocket sevens.
No, probably
not.
And
I think this is going to be the end of the game. So that's the hand. So good game to Taylor, good game to Mark. But that is going to take it down for Taylor Moss. So congrats to Taylor. I think that was really well played on both sides. I really enjoyed watching it. It was really back and forth. Both of them had the chip lead, kind of in that 60-40 range for a while. So there was definitely some really good back and forth there.
Yeah, I think Mark got a little aggressive with some of those bluffs that he tried to pull off, especially that 2-4 when he had
Yeah,
that 2-4
yeah,
on
the
that.
2-4 was
Uh,
very aggressive. But sometimes you're sitting there like the only way I'm gonna win is if I bluff at this, right?
right.
So
Yep.
I've
Yep.
been in that spot a lot where like maybe my bluff doesn't make that much sense, but I feel like I got to do something, and so yeah. But
Yeah,
it
that 2-8 bluff that he pulled off, that was huge. That got him back in the game.
yeah,
So yeah, it's yeah, Taylor did a nice job, stayed very steady, stayed true to his. Taylor never got into those kind of spots where he had to do a bluff with air.
yeah.
He stayed away from those types of
Yeah, he really
spots.
did. He really did. He kind of folded them away. He never, and that is one of the problems with the hands like the 2-4s and the 2-8s and the 9-3s. When we play those dusty holdings, yeah, sometimes they can hit gin and sometimes they can hit like, an 8 deuce flop or something like that. But often what we find ourselves in are these sort of no equity weird spots where we're like, I can't win this, so I better blast away. So that can be sort of troublesome sometimes. But
Yep. I
um,
find myself there all the time, heads up.
yeah, 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 you really can back yourself into some weird corners heads up. It's a really fun, there's no hiding in heads up poker. It's a really fun form of poker because you're on every hand, right? You've got to look at every hand, you've got to consider every hand. Every hand is playable, every hand is something that's going to bring some element to a flop, so it's a lot different. So it's fun to watch too. I really enjoy it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think,
Well, good
yeah, I think,
match, Taylor.
yeah, good match to Taylor. I think we're going to look at our updated standings here, and we have gone from from 3 to 2. So we now have two perfect brackets remaining. Danny Schneids and Binkley have now gone 4 for 4. They've hit all quarterfinal matchups. So congrats to them. You can see the standings up there on the screen. So still, if they stumble, there's still options and chances for the people kind of trailing behind. But it'll be interesting to see how this progresses as we get into the semifinals. And so, speaking of the semifinals, next week it'll be back here Thursday night. We've got commentary from our own Jim Reed and Kim Pet Vet, also known as Fergie56 in the home game. So that should be a really fun duo. I think they'll do a great job.
Couple of
Um,
Canucks.
yeah, a couple of Canucks. So hopefully they'll keep us all entertained. And we've got two based on the matchups, our semifinal matchups. The first one, well, let's save the best for last, Rob. Let's not talk about the second matchup. Will be sort of, it's kind of weird. We're doing the undercard first, so the undercard is going to be Taylor versus Andrew.
Right.
And
That is the undercard,
that
definitely.
is definitely an undercard matchup. But it'll be a good one for sure. I mean, there's two phenomenally good players. I think it'll be fun to watch them go toe to toe. But then in the main event of
Yes.
next week's matchup, it will be yours truly against you.
5x5 against Rabman 50.
Yeah, that is
Doesn't get
that
any
is
better than
no, it
that.
really doesn't. I mean, just crack open a cold one and let's go, let's go. I mean, that'll be very fun to watch. I am gonna try my heart out to beat you with pocket fives and see if I can just keep that string going through the whole tournament. That would be pretty delicious.
That would be
Um,
amazing. But I will, and I did tell you this, I will be jamming pre-flop with whatever stack size I have if I have pocket fives. So I
all
know
right,
they can't be beat even by you.
yeah, I'll be on the lookout. I'll be on the lookout for that. So again, that'll be 8 p.m. Central Time next Thursday night. Same Twitch channel. So congrats to all our participants and players. Thanks to everyone for joining us in the chat. It was a little hard to read all the chat while I was watching all this stuff. So, but it was so active. It was so great. It was great to see everyone join us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for Rob for keeping me going and lending your expert commentary. And thanks to everyone who's just tuned in. And also, special thanks to Taylor Moss as he played in this game, but also he's been the one who sort of organized all of this. He's set it all up. He's made this streaming possible. So really, thanks to him for sort of like the vision to make this happen, because I think it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the weeks ahead. So with that, any last words, Rob?
I just want to thank you for being a great co-host. I think we had a good time here. There was some great poker played. We got to see a couple of really good matches, and I can't wait till next week. And we're going to go heads up, and we're going to find out who's got the jizz to make it happen.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll hopefully see you back here next week.